Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be multiplying polynomials using something called the box method. So if you're in Ms. Drake's class, we're on page 19, lesson number 49. So try the do now and then pause the video. When you're ready you can unpause and come check your answers. Okay, here are your answers for the do now. Okay, once you check them you can turn the page. We're on page 20. Okay, we're going to be multiplying polynomials using something called the box method. I crossed this off for you. If you're in person, we'll be learning this method in class, but I figured at home we'll just stick to one method for now. Okay, so the first example is going to be multiplying 3x plus 2, so this binomial, times x minus 1, so times another binomial. So your first step is to draw a table or a box that has the same number of rows as there are terms in the first polynomial. So this is a binomial, it has two terms, that's why I have two rows. And then we want the same number of columns as the second polynomial. So there are two terms here, so that's why I have two columns. So since I'm doing a binomial times a binomial, that's two terms by two terms, I need a 2 by 2 box. So that's just your setup. I have it drawn for you for the first one, but underneath you see there's no boxes made for you, you'll have to create your own box. So we're going to write the first polynomial along the right-hand side. Okay. So 3x plus 2. That should say the left-hand side. Along the left-hand side. And then the second polynomial along the top. So x minus 1, we'll put x minus 1. Okay. So the first polynomial goes along the side. The second polynomial goes across the top. Now multiplication is commutative, so if you had switched the two and did 3x plus 2 up here and x minus 1 down here, that's fine, you would have gotten the same answer. Okay. So I separated my terms because each box will be filled in by multiplying the terms here and here together. Okay, so in this box, I'm going to be multiplying 3x times x. So 3x times x, let me put in my invisible coefficient of 1 and my invisible exponent of 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Bring over my x, and then I'll add my exponents. I have invisible 1 plus invisible 1 is 2. So 3x times x is 3x squared. In this box, I'm going to do 3x times a negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, and then I'll just bring over my x to the first power. Okay. This box, I'll be doing 2 times 1x to the first power, or 2 times 1 is 1, and then I'll bring over the x. You don't need this 1 here. It is a positive 1, so I'm going to put a plus sign here. And in this last box, I'm going to be doing negative 1 times 2, which is negative 2. Okay, so I just found 4 different products, which I'm then going to put together as a polynomial underneath. So I'm going to look for like terms. Usually, it says here combine like terms on the diagonal. Usually your like terms are in these two boxes. So when I write my polynomial, I'm going to be combining those two things together. So I want my answer in standard form. I'm going to start with the term with the greatest exponent, and that's this one right here. 3x squared, it's almost always in this top left position. So 3x squared. Okay. Now these two terms I'm going to combine together. So I have negative 3x plus 1x. So what is negative 3 plus 1? Negative 2. So I have a minus 2x. And then I'll bring down this minus 2. Okay. I want to write my final answer by combining all like terms, which I did, and then write the polynomial in standard form. So just check your answer and make sure it's in standard form, meaning the term with the greatest exponent comes first. Let's see. This has an exponent of 2, 1, and then there's no variable here, which means it has an exponent of 0. So this is my final answer, and it's in standard form. Okay, let's take a look at example 2 and 3. Okay, example 2 says 4x minus 7, which is a binomial, and then there's a 2 on it, which means squared. So what this means is that I'm really doing 4x minus 7 times 4x minus 7. So it's really a binomial, so two terms, by a binomial, which is another two terms. So when I create my box, I want a 2 by 2 box. So go ahead and draw a square. Mine looks a little rectangular-ish, but that's okay. So I want a 2 by 2 box. Okay. One of the polynomials will go down the side, and one will go across the top. It doesn't really matter which one is which. I usually put the first one on the side, and the second one across the top. In this case, they're the same. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to fill in my different products. So in this box, let me put in my invisible ones. In this box, I'm going to be multiplying 4x times 4x. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then x times x is x squared. Right? 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, in this box, I'm doing negative 7 times 4x. So that's negative 28x. Okay. In this box, I'm doing negative 7 times 4x. Oh, I just did that. Is negative 28x. And then in this last box, I'm doing negative 7 times negative 7, which is 49. It's a positive, so I'm going to put a plus, because when I combine all my like terms at the end, I want to make sure I write plus 49. Okay, let's take my 4 terms and write them as a polynomial. Check for like terms. These two are alike, so I'm going to combine them when I write my final answer. So let me start with the term with the greatest exponent, and that is 16x squared. So let's start with that, 16x squared. And then I have negative 28x plus negative 28x. So I'm just going to add those coefficients, and I'll get negative 56x. And then add this last term, plus 49. Okay, so there's my solution. Okay, last one, example 3. Let's set up our box. It's a binomial by binomial. So let's set up our square, a 2 by 2 square. So I'll put 8x plus 2 on the side here, and 8x minus 2 over here. Okay. At this time, let's pause the video and try to fill in the box, and then you can come back and check your answer. Okay, in this box, I hope you wrote 64x squared. And then in this box, I hope you wrote 8x times negative 2 is negative 16x. And then in this box, you did 2 times 8x. So you got a plus 16x. And then in this last box, you did 2 times negative 2, and you got a minus 4. Okay. Now we're going to add together our like terms. They're on the diagonal again. So 64x squared, that's this term. Add your two middle terms together. Negative 16 plus 16 is 0. So my x terms actually cancel. So I have 0x, but I don't write 0x. I'm not going to write anything. And then I'm going to write minus 4. So my answer becomes a binomial because my two x terms canceled. So these two examples, I had trinomials. That's pretty typical. And once in a while, you'll get a binomial when your two middle terms cancel. Okay, so once you check your work, let's turn the page and try example 4. Okay, pause the video and then come back and check your answer. Okay, here's your work for example 4. Okay, at this time, we're going to save example 5 for tomorrow so you can go try the homework questions and let me know if you have any questions.